Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Kurt. Welcome back to Farlands or Bust, episode 605 for your Saturday, September 10th. Oh, hello, Wolfie. I appear to have not used the door there. I used the ceiling to get out. Ooh. Oh, that was just me placing blocks. Saturday, September 10th, 2016 for your episode 605. I think I already said that, right? As we step out of the hidey hole and continue west to those far lands here in Minecraft Beta 1.7.3. 1.7.3 indeed, with our companion, longtime companion, Wolfie McWolfington Esquire Junior, Senior, the Third, Junior. One of those matches up and is right. But yeah, we are continuing on. A little bit of a break there from the Farlands or Bust. Was away for a while at the PAX Primes. Not PAX West, it's PAX Prime. It's like when they renamed the Sears Tower. No, it's the Sears Tower. Get it right. I think that's called being a curmudgeon. But yeah, we're continuing on and again here, and continuing to raise money for Child's Play charity over at farlandsorbust.com. Somebody's having fun with the numbers, or having fun really screwing with people's kind of need to have even numbers, because we're at $40,333.23. Not 33 cents. They didn't give that extra 10 cents to make it 33333. 23 cents, 67% of the way to our $60,000 Season 6 goal. Like I said, farlandsorbust.com. Go to that website. Right there on the homepage of that website, you will see the Child's Play charity donation widget functionality. It'll give you the most updated number, as well as the goal. And then there's a donate button that when you click, it will take you to a form where you yourself can choose whatever amount, and any amount helps. Whatever amount you would like to donate to help get toys, books, kids. To help get toys, books, and kids. No. To help get toys, books, and games to kids in hospitals around the world is what Child's Play charity does. And with your donation, you can ask a question in the comment field, and I will add it to the list to answer in a future episode of Farlands or Bust here. We've got a long list building up. Long list, so we got to get back on this Farlands or Bust boat. Actually, wait. I was going to actually jump on a boat to make it really sink in. Puns. Boat puns, boating puns, sinking. Get it? But there's not enough water to be boating upon, so we'll just continue walking. So yeah, I'll be answering some questions in this episode, but not after mentioning something that I would, obviously, you'd expect me to mention. SpaceX. Space news. I was away, like I said, in Seattle for PAX Prime, and I completely missed the news for the majority of the day on Thursday, but SpaceX had a rather dramatic failure. It wasn't a launch day. They were actually fueling a Falcon 9 rocket for a simulated countdown. They do this to kind of just test things before the actual countdown and launch. And a static fire. They basically fire the engines of the Falcon 9 without releasing it from the pad. So it's just a static short fire just to see that all the engines are performing nominally and all the systems are okay. That way when the actual launch happens, there should be no, things should be all on the up and up and ready to go. Well, even before the static fire began, during the fueling operations, and I'm sure you probably saw a video of this, very dramatic video, a dramatic failure, an explosion up near the Falcon 9's upper stage liquid oxygen tank is what they've determined, at least the origin of the failure. The rocket exploded is pretty much what happened. That second stage, which is up near the top, flames and explosions came out of that, which then ignited the rest of the rocket, the lower stage, the first stage. And then the payload, a satellite, uncrewed, obviously, but the satellite came tumbling off the top, and it was destroyed. And they're still trying to figure out what the heck happened. That's completely, you know, okay, sure. Any failure of a rocket is a puzzling and a very dramatic and unfortunate thing, but it usually happens at launch. You know, when the time comes to release all of that fuel and fire through the engines, and you're trying to get to space at incredible 14,000 miles per hour or whatever. Not necessarily during fueling. But yeah, they're still investigating it. The launch pad is pretty much destroyed, and they are considering, depending on if it's refurbishable, this is a launch pad that's at Cape Canaveral, Complex 40, which is where they've launched all of their SpaceX flights out of Florida. They might just decide, if that launch pad is too far gone, they might decide to just switch and start launching from pad 39A, which SpaceX is renting from NASA. That's at Kennedy Space Center. Pad 39A, of course, is the launch pad that the majority of space shuttle launches took place from, as well as Saturn V rockets. SpaceX is actually renting that and refurbishing it and changing it so that it could launch its crewed missions. And more specifically, it's a larger launch pad to handle the Falcon 9 Heavy. But it might be a while. It might be up to a year before the SpaceX Falcon 9s can return to flight while this investigation is ongoing. This is a brand new rocket. This is not a rocket that had flown before. They have yet to reuse one of their rockets that landed, the first stage Falcon 9s that landed. So this was a new rocket, so I mean, any number of complex systems and things could go wrong there, in any regard, new rocket or old rocket, whatever. But it was just really, I was reading the headlines, I think before dinner or something like that on Thursday, and I'm like, but there wasn't a launch today. How could there have been a Falcon 9 failure? Is this like old news about the old failure? What is this? And then I saw the video, and good gravy. It's crazy stuff. So yeah, crazy stuff. Not at all. You know, it's part of space flight. I suppose SpaceX has been doing a very good job of making successful space flight a routine. Not only space flight, but also then crazy futuristic times, such as returning your rocket back to the Earth and landing vertically on a floating barge or back on land. They've been making that so routine that it's pretty easy to forget that flying things into space off of the planet upon which we were never meant to leave is no routine task indeed, and even something as mundane as preparing for space flight is dangerous and fraught with very many complexities that any points of failure could really go wrong. Thankfully, nobody was injured, as is safety precaution whenever a rocket is being fueled, even if it's not launch day, even if it's just for a test. There's no personnel in the vicinity, and that's exactly why, because this sort of stuff happened very frequently in the early space age days. And just for that reason, you really don't want people hanging around a rocket fully pressurized and fully fueled with crazy amounts of potential energy if they don't need to be. And they didn't need to be, and nobody was injured, but it's still quite a setback for SpaceX, who, as you know, I've long rooted for, and I continue to root for, and they're going to get to the bottom of this, just like they got to the bottom of the failure that happened during the launch of the Dragon capsule. Similarly, in that second stage, I wonder, probably not related, but there's, so much focus on this first stage and returning the first stage back and landing vertically and all this stuff. I wonder, I'm not saying they're forgetting about the second stage, but I wonder if, it's time to take another look at that second stage of the rocket, the upper stage of their Falcon 9 rockets, to see what more can be done well, they're going to have to. What went wrong? They have to figure out what went wrong before they can figure out what more can be done. So crazy stuff happening. Let's make an elevated hidey hole, say right here. Why don't we? In a place that seems like it's already pre-set up for us. Plunk down the torch and a bed. And then we'll continue on, and we'll continue with some questions from Child's Play charity donors in the morning. And awakeness. Careful there, pig. That's a long drop. As we continue on, let's use another boat. That was some expert boat jumping into skills. Got a question from a donation here from BangX Your Ex Dead. If you had to be an actor, would you rather be in movies or television shows? I don't know, creeper friend. I don't know. Probably... I feel like... movies? It just seems like then you have an opportunity to play a bunch of different roles and work with a bunch of different people and have a bunch of different experiences versus television shows, unless you're on a string of unsuccessful television shows. Television shows, you're pretty much stuck in doing a single part or job for many, many years at a time, which might also, I could see an advantage to that as well, as far as a steady paycheck is concerned, and steady work, and work if you end up liking the people you're working with, you want to keep working with them. But in the completely theoretical planet in which, for whatever crazy reason, I am an actor and a successful actor, probably movies. Probably movies. Although you do see a lot of movie actors moving to TV now, especially now that there's things such as your Netflix and your Hulus and your other stuff. Many more options than simply network television and cable television to be available for. So I don't know, but yeah, I've never really considered acting or any such thing as that. Possibly not up my alley. But thank you very much for the donation. And the question, an anonymous donor asks, there are a lot of webcomics going around. They're growing around. They're like the flu. A lot of webcomics going around, and lots of the authors do brilliant things. But Penny Arcade, is this a spawner? No, that's not. But Penny Arcade are especially awesome with packs and obviously Child's Play. Why are they so amazing? Is this being written by somebody who works at Penny Arcade? I have a feeling there's something screwy going on. I don't know, and honestly, I hadn't... This is a spawner, I'll tell you that much right now. Yeah, it is. Alright, spawner excavation time. Underwater spawner. Alright, Wolfie, you're gonna have to sit up here. Oop, and some flames! Whoop, hi. Yeah, hi. Ooh, hi. Alright, this one is actually gonna take some doing. So let's bust. It's been a while since we've excavated a spawner. I think since episode 600. It's been 5 episodes, which at the rate we're making episodes was about a month ago. I don't know. I don't know that much, honestly, about Penny Arcade's history, much beyond what I could read in Wikipedia. You know, a lot of people who now work there or are now involved with Penny Arcade have been following or are part of their community for years. This recently was the 10th, if I'm not mistaken, the 10th PAX Prime in Seattle, and the 25th overall PAX around the world. So it's no... You know, they started in 2006 then, obviously, is what that means. So I'm very much a latecomer as far as at least the Penny Arcade is concerned. The Penny Arcade. Whoop, whoop. Now we're doing it. Okay. This is why I grabbed sand, because I knew this was being screwy. Okay. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, just had an opportunity and a community, I guess. Child's Play is obviously something that's very unique with Penny Arcade. They've specifically maintained a rather separate, as far as between Penny Arcade and Child's Play Charity, a separate association, a not so obvious association to each other, mainly because they want the charity to be about the charity, and then the comic to be about the comic, or that community to be about that. But, I mean, that's certainly a unique aspect. But yeah, you'd have to ask them why they are so awesome. And obviously, PAX was kind of, I don't know, what, I mean, there were others, but it's kind of the first fan gaming convention, you know, for fans, if I can say that much. It seems, I could be wrong, it just seems like that convention really attracted, instead of being like E3 or whatever, being industry conventions, this one is dedicatedly for fans. That really grew yet another community. I suppose it's just the community. They oh geez, this is turning into a bigger operation than I had bargained for, my friends. This spawner better have something amazing in it. Cut to 5 minutes from now when it just has a block of wood. A single stick. Dang you! Alright, we're gonna do it now. We're fully invested in this operation. Alright. But yeah, thank you, Anonymous Donor, for that question. Very timely, being as just coming from PAX. Let's do this, of course. So it's a biggie. It's a busy month for conventions. In just 2 weeks, we've got Minecon coming up in LA/Anaheim. A great deal of us Mindcrackers are going, thanks to support from fans. I myself am going, so if you see me, say hello, hello, yellow. Oh dang, this is a double tall source water blocks. Dang it. This is going to turn out not to be a spawner, isn't it? It's just going to be a very convenient arrangement of sand. That's got to be a spawner. Perhaps I should confirm that. I'll go down and get this dirt. Get the dirt, Kurt. Oh yeah, it's definitely a spawner. All right, don't drown now. All right, let's do it this way, I guess. There we go. I think this is the last source block. So yeah, we got that whole Minecon thing happening. Not sure I have any specific announcements for that. We have some panels. I'll let you know specifically when I find out, or when they find out they're holding the panels, and other stuff regarding that. But yeah, that's a couple weeks away. And then just the following weekend is TwitchCon, which I have, since it's so close, decided to go to. A little bit strange for me. I'm not sure what to expect. TwitchCon seemed a little bit less, speaking of that fan interaction thing. Alright, I'm just going to use these because it's easier. A little bit less, say, for fans than it is, say, just for broadcasters to meet, it seems, and mingle. I mean, I know it's open to fans to attend, but I'm not really going with the idea that that's the case. So yeah, I'll be also going to TwitchCon. And then I got some other stuff happening in October. I'm not 100% sure it's been fully announced yet, but we'll look forward to that when it does. I'm going to take some damage here. All right, let's... Oh, dang it. Huh, there we go. Perfect. Boop. All right. All right. What have you got for me here, spawner? Better be amazing. Better be so amazing. What kind of spawner? You're a zombie spawner? Oh. Oh. Just some bread and some string. Not yet. Bread, string, and redstone. Okay. What have you got? Oh. Take the iron. The iron's all right. Wheat. I guess I can take some wheat. A little bit more wheat. I was hoping, at least for some way to make some TNT or something to blow it to Kingdom Come, but not even gonna get that. Oh jeez! And now it's getting dark. So dark. All right, let's make our way out of here. All right, pointless expedition of the day goes to excavating this unfortunately underperforming spawner here. Underwater underperforming spawner. But I guess while we're here, we'll make the elevated hidey hole. So Wolfie's sitting there anyway. Place down the bed and go to sleep. And stupid spawnerness. Stupid spawners. Honestly. Continuing on. Got a question here from Peter. Peter, I don't know why I'm saying your name like that, but Peter says, just a donation to help with Child's Play fundraiser. Why, thanks. That's the whole point. You're helping get toys, books, games to kids and households around the world. Just a little donation to help with the Child's Play fundraiser. Whispers, when's KSP coming back? Oh, Kerbal Space Program. I actually got this question a few times at PAX as well by fans who met up and said that's how they found me or that's a series that they liked. I don't know. I have no plans. It could never come back. That is a distinct possibility. With the fact that I am focusing a little bit more on streaming, there are chances that it could casually come back as a stream game to play on live stream. But as far as a YouTube series, I would not hold my breath for such a thing. And I got similar into similar conversations with other people who played KSP since the early alphas and betas, that they themselves have stopped playing in these newest versions just because it's time to move on to a new game. It's time to switch to something else, or the game that it's become isn't the game that they played with, so it's not quite the same. The what's the word I'm looking for? The al dente isn't quite there. I don't. I was thinking of like food analogies, and pasta came to mind. It's not quite as al dente. It's a little bit overcooked from what we're used to. We like our Kerbal Space Program to be nice and crunchy. So yeah, I don't know. I tried to bring it back and it didn't work, and that honestly makes it kind of sting a little bit more than if I had just stopped after the main first series. I tried a couple times to bring it back, and it didn't make me happy. It didn't make people happy, commenters or whatever. And I can blame it on the comments on the community, blah 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 blah. But it really comes down to my decision and my own thoughts or just interests in the game at all. I'm always still interested in seeing what Danny 2492, whatever his name is, comes up with in some of his crazy Kerbal Space Program videos. It's always interesting to see that and have a little bit of nostalgia there. And it is a game that I enjoyed quite a bit. One of my top games of all time, definitely. Along with Minecraft, the original Tomb Raider, Kerbal Space Program is right up there. But for a YouTube series, for any YouTube series, really, it's difficult for me to say any sort of confidence that I'll be having some sort of giant 100-episode series. Little things like Grow Up, those little games where we might get, 20 or so episodes out of it, those I could see doing. But I do feel a bit of a shift. Well, the shift probably happened about 4 years ago, but a definite... Ow, Wolfie! Oh, that was 2 hearts. Boy, I sure do wish I brought that loaf of bread with me from that spawner. Dang it! A definite shift on YouTube away from the series, at least in the gaming spectrum, he says in episode 605 of this series, and more towards just videos, random one-off videos, or even, you know, the collaborative videos like we do, you know, stuff like we do Minecraft Murder and other mini-games with that group. You know, no need to number the episodes or anything, or even, you know, similarly, I like the way we do Dirt Rally with Conelanders. Even similarly, the Conelanders Assetto Corsa League. They could all be watched individually. There's not an overreaching story arc or anything. So yeah, I'm really... I'm thinking that's kind of going to be the way of things moving forward. I don't know that there's ever going to be any sort of big, quote-unquote, series success on YouTube anymore. As I see it, I don't know. Who knows what the future holds, but yeah, I'm honestly, specifically for YouTube, I could probably confidently say, no, it's never coming back. An exodus of 300,000 subscribers suddenly leaves. Twitch, possibly. Highlights from Twitch going up on YouTube, maybe, but as far as like, this is episode 1 of the new series of... No, I don't think that's going to happen. But I appreciate the donation to Child's Play charity. Speaking of series, Classic Game Boy asks, are you continuing Eidolon? Where, oh where, has my Eidolon gone? Eidolon, another one of those games, very similarly. Sort of. I mean, it's such an open world game and such, and you know, there's no beginning, middle, or end. That it's difficult to say when I'll want to fire that back up again. It's a good stream. It's a really those type of open world walkie simulatory type games are really good for streaming. But again, that's a series that has gotten into the 30, 40, 50 episode mark, and people just aren't interested in that anymore. On the YouTubes, as much as I know there's a small pocket of folk who do watch, and I'm not saying that I'm not going to create a series if it's not going to get X amount of views, but it's that feedback certainly is important and an important motivator for a YouTuber, for a creator of the online videos. So yeah, I don't know that. Again, possibly for stream. Maybe I'll cut it up and put it up on YouTube, but I think, yeah, since there is no, like, story, it's not like I've left anybody hanging about anything. I did leave it at a point where I was very confused about which path to take. I was definitely at a point where I've discovered and traveled the majority, if not all, of the landscape. I made an entire loop back and around the entire... up through Seattle there and whatever, and then back up to the north where I almost froze to death, which is a new experience. And I just basically, I'm like, well, I guess I can start backtracking, because I know there's a lot of storyline I've missed back here. So I think when you end up doubling back and backtracking on things is probably a good time to call it. And we got a nice experience with Eidolon there. As you know, I'm no completionist. I'm not trying to get 100% of all the notes and whatever's collected, but we had a really good, you know, there's nothing wrong with saying we had a good experience. Let's look for a different one or another one with Kerbal Space Program, with Eidolon, with online Minecraft servers, vanilla server, you know, whatever it may be. We had a good experience. You can always go back and view or see anything you missed or whatever, but we're going to try to move on to something else and have fun that way. Can we all agree upon that? Can we all agree upon that? Oh, man. Right, Wolfie? Guess so. Let's see here. Trying to get down in a safe manner. Get down! Get funky. Alright, this Wolfie. Oh, ha! Oh, I knew that was gonna happen. No! Okay, good job. Well done. Right into the water. An anonymous donor. A lot of questions about series on YouTube. Donor here asks, or says, I'm new to your channel. Welcome. And welcome to Far Lands of Boston. Thank you very much for your donation to Child's Play charity for being so new. Wolfie. Oh, God. Drown the dog. New to your channel. and I'm watching through your Dirt series and saw the episode where you have a camera which showed you and your luscious beard. Just wondering if you still rock it. The camera? I have a beard. I literally, like, a couple hours ago trimmed it even more so. I'm not going extreme with it anymore. Felt it didn't match me so well. I don't quite have the... Ooh, I was trying to go up this thing, but I don't think it's going to work. I don't quite have... I'm not quite... Woo! Alright, maybe we should stop doing that since we're already down 2 hearts, huh? Don't quite have the dense follicles of our friend Vintage Beef. So the longer my beard gets, the more kind of wiry and unruly it becomes. So I've decided to rein that back quite a bit. But yeah, I've not completely shorn it off for fear that I will end up looking like a tiny child. So I'm still keeping the beard, still adjusting when necessary. But yeah, not quite. I'm trying to think of what dirt video, because I don't know. Careful, Wolfie. I don't remember. Normally the videos are over my shoulder and looking at the steering wheel with the wheel cam. I can't remember. It might have been a live stream where the camera was actually facing me. I don't know. I'm at a bit of a loss. But yeah, the beard, specifically the beard that you saw with the first Kurt Indeed video, rest in peace, was probably that was peak Kurt J beard right there. Oh man, this whole place is just disastrous. Let's careful, Wolfie, careful, Wolfie, careful, Wolfie. He says as he climbs higher and higher into the stratosphere. All right, I guess this is where... Have a seat. Guess this is where we're making our hidey hole. It, in and of itself, is quite elevated, accidentally. Beep, bop. All right, let's light this situation up. Hopefully we're not, like, on a hanging perch here. I think there's a little bit of hanginess beneath us. There's some dangliness going on this here rock, but we're gonna say goodnight to Wolfie. Let's actually get Wolfie in a little bit of a safer configuration here. Oh, ha, 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 ha. All right. Yeah, well, let's put him right there. Let's block off the door. Very nice. And make the rest of this. Whew. So now that we're all up to speed on where I am with all of my YouTube series, keep going to farlandsandbus.com to donate to Child's Play charity and ask me some different questions that you may have. By donating, and right there when you donate, you get the little comment field that you can enter in your question. Make sure, we had a few anonymous ones here. Make sure to enter, if you'd like, make sure to enter in your name, your username, your Twitch name, or your YouTube name, whatever it may be, Twitter name, because all donations coming through Child's Play charity are anonymous by default. I don't see any names or emails or anything. Ooh, we can make yellow dye. I honestly had no idea that this was in this game. So farlandsandbus.com. When you donate, you can leave a comment, leave a question in that comment. Also leave your name if you'd like. If not, no problem. And I very much appreciate the continued support. We're trying to raise that 60. Ooh. I appear to have a flooding problem in my bedroom. We're trying to raise that $60,000 here for Season 6. When we do is when I will finally press F3 here in Minecraft Beta 173, which gives us our coordinates to see how far we've walked for over a year of Farlands or Bust here. Zoop. Some crazy carpet you got going on there, Kurt. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. My name is Kurt. I will see you next time. We like our Kerbal Space Program to be nice and crunchy.